This is New York, a fabulous Baghdad on the Hudson, a city steeped in historical lore, pulsating with the vigor of this modern age, and rich in the promise of a bright tomorrow. For those who know New York, and for those who have only heard of it, this cosmopolitan city holds different values, varied meanings, the key to desires and ambitions to be realized. To some, New York is just a place to play, nightclubs and restaurants, theaters, sports, all are plentiful. Others find here the expression of their interests in the museums and libraries, in the schools and universities, in the theater and music world, in the innumerable institutions of scientific and professional learning. Still others in various business and professional circles desire to be associated with the greatest financial metropolis in the world. But no matter what magic is to be found in New York, the source of its greatness is found in its port. Yes, New York is the world's greatest port. Over 500 ships can be seen every month leaving or entering the port, sailing to and from ports of call in every country of the world. It employs 200,000 stevedores, tugmen, and others to man the harbor craft. This constant flow of traffic attracts shippers, for they know that no matter where they want to ship their goods, a bottom can be found, ready to sail for any destination. Conversely, shipping lines know that ships putting in at New York will always find a cargo. To understand how the supremacy of New York was established, let us roll back the years and look at the map of the United States in 1783. In that year, by treaty with England, which closed the Revolutionary War, the region to be known later as the Northwest Territory was ceded to the United States. This rich new land and fast-growing civilization had to be served. Such Atlantic ports as Portland, Boston, Philadelphia, Wilmington, Baltimore, Norfolk, Charleston, and Savannah were all eager for this new business. Would they get it? No. For the Appalachian mountain range stretching from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico was an obstacle in their path, too great to surmount with colonial overland transportation. Notice that each of these Atlantic ports is confronted with a natural land barrier. In other words, each port is actually landlocked from westward expansion. A few ports to the south are hopelessly out of reach, so distance alone has defeated them in their hope of trading with this new land. However, the manifest destiny of the Port of New York had been decided during the Great Ice Age, which formed the Mohawk and Hudson Valleys, a gateway through the Appalachian mountain range to this vast Northwest Territory. During this period in our country's history, when transportation was forced to take the easiest route rather than the shortest, it was this gateway alone that provided the logical connecting link between the eastern seaboard and the new land to the west. This gateway was the key to the eventual supremacy of the Port of New York. With the westward expansion of the United States, the port grew and flourished, and by 1797, New York had become America's leading port. The Erie Canal, begun in 1817, added further impetus to the trade by connecting the Atlantic coast with the interior. With the opening of the canal in 1825, the leadership of the Port of New York was assured. Today, the Port of New York and the city it has built rank supreme and unchallenged as the world's greatest port and financial center. It has become the world's spice capital, playing host to the majority of importers, brokers, dealers, and grinders engaged in this trade. If you have a sweet tooth, consider this. The United States consumes 40% of the world's sugar, and most of it enters this port. All our coffee is imported, and over half of the world's production of coffee is consumed by America. Most of it enters the Port of New York. And like familiar quotations when considering the Port of New York, we talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings. We also talk of tonnage in and out of New York, amounting to 129 million tons annually. Of this tonnage, foreign imports and exports constitute 24 million tons, valued at $6 billion, over half of the nation's foreign trade. And here are some figures to amaze you. During World War II, a ship left New York Harbor every 15 minutes. Today, in peacetime, over 100 ships leave New York every week. Yes, it's a big port, and bigness begets bigness. Father Knickerbocker can now take his eyes from the sea and look westward over the land at the new steam horses on ribbons of steel, clicking out tunes of fast-moving passenger and freight trains which have their terminal at New York. American railroads haul into New York 56,000 carloads of export cargo per month, and this plus other freight has made New York the leading East Coast rail terminal. The sounds of the past, of creaking wagon wheels on old dirt trails, have given way to the hum of rubber wheels on mammoth trucks, speeding over superhighways. Into the port of New York rolls 7,000 trucks each day, carrying agricultural products, manufactured goods, and every conceivable type of freight from the 48 states. And here comes Father Knickerbocker's newest form of transportation. Within a few short years, the airlines have put into the skies high-speed planes with payloads far beyond the wildest dreams of the Wright brothers. In the year 1903, New York and San Francisco were 6 days apart, yet in less than the lifetime of a man, that distance has been shortened to half a day. And now, in this air age, New York handles 100,000 commercial aircraft movements each year. We have seen how and to what extent the opening of the Northwest Territory was responsible for the early growth of the port. Now let us consider the geographical qualifications that have made this a first-rate harbor, have made it possible for it to establish and expand its maritime trade, which with the years attracted other forms of transportation to participate in the tremendous commerce involved. Upon examination, we find that New York Port possesses the 7 golden points which make a first-rate harbor. First, it has abundant level land area to serve the port in Manhattan, Long Island, Staten Island, and New Jersey. Second, it has protection from wind and waves in the bulkheads of Long Island and Staten Island. Third, it has good depth of water close to the shore and in the channels. Fourth, it has abundant anchorage room in the Upper Bay and the Hudson River. Fifth, it has space for docks and wharves on the island of Manhattan, certain sections of Brooklyn, Staten Island, and New Jersey. Sixth, it has easy lines of communication with the interior country by way of bridges and tunnels that join highways reaching out toward the 4 points of the compass. Seventh, and above all else, it has a rich hinterland, the richest hinterland of any port in the world. These are invaluable natural advantages. However, progress in shipbuilding has advanced so far beyond the port's present-day shipping facilities that many docks are now outmoded and are inadequate for the proper berthing of modern ocean liners and freighters. The 10 and 20-ton trucks of today are so huge that they cannot be maneuvered alongside loading and unloading vessels as could the horse-drawn drays of years ago. Not only does this inefficient handling of cargoes cause delays, but it also obstructs the flow of traffic in and about the docks and throughout the shipping district. This problem of ever-increasing commerce will be met. Plans and designs for improved shipping facilities are constantly coming from the drafting boards. The Port Authority, which includes equal representation from the states of New York and New Jersey, is planning to spend millions of dollars for improvement of all shipping facilities. Such improvements are necessary in order to meet growing competition from other ports and also to use to full advantage the port's geographical blessings. The construction of new shipping facilities will ensure the prosperity of the city and the state, which in a large measure depends on the economic stability of the Port of New York. Yes, the future looks bright for this great port and city serving a nation of free men under a free government. A nation which has created an agricultural and industrial skill and a way of life that has placed America first among the nations of the world.